I watched the live face reveal of my favorite YouTuber. What I saw will haunt me forever. Late last year, Isolation Infinity announced a live face reveal, exclusively for his top Patreon supporters. I was one of the lucky few invited. It felt like winning the lottery. The night of the event, I followed the private link he sent. The stream loaded into a dimly lit room, bare red walls, a baby blue frame, nothing else. Not what I expected from someone with millions of subscribers. In the background, a mechanical hum droned on, low and constant. I ignored it, assuming it was bad plumbing or an old heater. Then he stepped into frame. A thin man in a trench coat with maroon buttons. He reached for the camera, tilted it up, and began to count down. 1, 2, 3, 4. At 5, he lifted it to his face. I froze. He was nothing like I imagined. Bald, skin stretched tight over hollow cheeks, lips slack and pulled to one side as if he couldn't control his jaw. His eyes, glassy and black like polished marbles. But what unsettled me most was his age. He had always claimed to be in his 20s, like most of his audience. The person on my screen was easily in his 50s. I've been waiting for this moment, he said, licking his lips. I need to show my appreciation. The camera shifted left, revealing something I never should have seen. A woman sat on the grimy floor, arms bound in rusted chains. Her head drooped, her body limp. Blood stained her torn black shirt. The way she barely moved, barely breathed. It was clear she'd been here for a long time. Say something, he told her. Tell them you can't wait to die. A chainsaw roared to life. My stomach clenched as she whimpered, blood trickling from her mouth. My eyes flicked to the chat. There were no other viewers. I was alone. I dragged my cursor to close the window. Nothing worked. The exit button was there, but it might as well have been a drawing on the screen. What's wrong, Mark? His voice slithered through the speakers. You don't like it? My blood ran cold. He knew my name. Of course, he got it through Patreon. I had given it to him willingly without a second thought. This had to be a prank, a sick stunt for shock value, but the woman's pain, the way she twitched as she tried to speak, it was too real. My hand tightened around my phone. I had to call 911. I wouldn't do that if I were you. His gaze locked onto the screen as if he could see me. Then the chainsaw came down. I barely heard my own scream over the wet crunch of steel meeting flesh. Blood splattered the lens. His laughter, raw and jagged, filled my speakers as I ripped my computer from the wall. I didn't think. I drove straight to the police station, PC in tow. They didn't believe me at first, thought I was paranoid, chasing a hoax. But after they ran my hard drive through cybercrimes, everything changed. A week later, Detective Samantha Brown called. The stream came from a bunker in Virginia, she said, an abandoned Cold War shelter. He's known as the I-73 Butcher, a serial killer who live streams his crimes under stolen identities. My stomach twisted. You mean he's not Isolation Infinity? Number. He's been hacking creators' accounts for years. He gets off on making strangers witness his murders. I felt sick. Did you find him? She hesitated. We found his hideout, but he's gone. The real Isolation Infinity deleted his channel soon after, likely horrified by what had been done under his name. But the killer? He was still out there, watching, waiting. I tried to move on. I really did, but the nightmares followed me. His voice, the chainsaw, the way her blood bubbled against the lens. Then, this afternoon, I heard something outside my window. I assumed it was the neighbors mowing their lawn, but when I pulled back the curtain, there was no one there. No one except a man standing in my yard, bald, skin stretched tight over hollow cheeks, glassy black eyes, and in his hands, a chainsaw.